Hey, what's going on, people? It's LB the Realist with Surrealistic Studios, where the realest of real. Thank you all for joining me today. So, I just thought this was interesting. I just got into an altercation. Not a big altercation, but it was, it could have went there, But, I'm doing my job or whatever, and I see a car, pass by me, and they flash their lights. So I said, okay, all right, let me go see who that is. Because they pass by me. It's kind of dark out here, so they pass by me and they keep driving around the corner there. And I go up to them, I approach them, and they're out their car, and he's getting his stuff out. He's an older black man. And I stay in my vehicle, but I pull up on him or whatever, and I start questioning him like, hey, are you a worker, or you supposed to be here? And I'm not even gonna lie to you, I totally forgot everything that was said. But long story short, he gives me a hard time. I say something, he says something back. We start going back and forth, and it turns into, oh, you don't have to come questioning me because you see a black man walking into a nice house like this. And immediately, I heard the scratch of the the whole little, my whole shit just stopped. I'm like, wait, what? You said what? You said, huh? I'm questioning you because you're a black man walking into a nice ass house? Really? Hold up, though. It was crazy, right? It just totally took me back because I'm like, you gonna play me like that? Really? You gonna play the race card? You gonna play racism with me, bro? For real? For real? Wow, like that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy as shit. And then he also started. So I said something. I forget what was said. I'm sorry, but that's not even the point. The point of everything of what I'm trying to get to is, he tried to question me on my age. He was like, how old are you? And I was like, it doesn't matter how old I am, because it doesn't. But long story short, we got into an altercation because I didn't know who he was, and he was entering these premises, and I'm supposed to check everybody. He didn't like the fact that I was checking him in the first place. And then he proceeded to claim that I was racially discriminatory, or that I was what's the correct word to use? I was like racially targeting him because he was black going into a nice house. Obviously he wasn't supposed to be there. Well, first of all, when he passed by me in the car and I decided to drive after him, I didn't know who the hell was in the car. I just saw a car pass by me and flash their lights. Now, when I talked to him, he told me he flashed his lights because he was acknowledging me. So I said, okay, well, if you're acknowledging me, then that's why I'm over here. I'm over here trying to see who you are, because I don't know if you're a worker. I don't know if you're a trespasser. I don't know if you're somebody from my company that's trying to check me or trying to test me. So I got to do my job. And he didn't like the fact that I was questioning him so early in the morning. And I think there's some lessons in this, because by the end of our altercation, you know what happened? He asked me that last question. He asked me how old I was. I said, it doesn't matter. So he walked off. He walked away from me and didn't say a word and started walking towards the house. Now, instead of escalating the situation and getting out the vehicle and yelling or raising my, doing anything crazy like that, or, calling the police or doing something stupid like that, I just drove off. I drove off. I said, you know what? Let me drive down the street, see who else is here. I'm going to drive back. And, I took a picture of the license plate just in case, because, you never know with these kind of situations. I didn't know at that point. I didn't know if he was a worker or not. So I was still iffy about him. He just told me that he was, but I had no indication that he was, you know what I'm saying? I had no proof that he was anyway. But I drove off, and something clicked in my brain. And I said, fuck that. I can't, fuck that. Maybe it was him just walking off and not saying a word to me, that it was just like, you know what? Fuck that. So I drove back. And when I drove back, I hopped out the car. I said, you know what, sir? I apologize if I said anything or said anything in any kind of way that may have been disrespectful or anything like that. I didn't mean to come across like that. I'm a security guard and I'm just trying to do my job. And then we kind of got into a little more. And then actually that's when he claimed that I was targeting him because he was black walking into a nice house. I said, wait, hold up. See, that's how I know. I didn't say exactly those words, but in my head, I'm like, see, that's how you know that you don't know me at all. Because if you knew me, you would have never said that. And it's just funny that you would say that. So it's like, in my head, this is what I'm thinking. Like, is it because I'm light skinned and you're a darker complexion than me? So obviously, because you're darker, I'm racist against darker people, or colorist, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, when it's your own. Or basically it's because I'm just a security guard, so security guards are naturally assholes or whatever, and we just like fucking with people. Which is halfway true. Half of us are assholes, and the other half of us are just doing our fucking jobs, and sometimes that requires us to be assertive and to get at people about shit. And then the people call us assholes anyways. Excuse me, that was my alarm, if you heard that. So, that's why I really hate being a security guard. But anyways, I said, wow, no, that has nothing to do with the fact that you're black walking in here. You know what I'm saying? And we had a talk. We had a long talk. And by the end of the conversation, by the end of the altercation, you know what he did? He reached out his hand to me and shook my hand and then pulled me in, and we embraced. We embraced as two brothers. As a darker skinned brother and a light skinned brother, as an older brother and a younger brother, as a security guard and as a I guess he's a construction worker. We had a moment. We really had an understanding. Like, look, you know what? And by the end, not only did he embrace me, but he actually apologized himself. And that's what really, the whole situation, how it unfolded, really made me feel good. But at the very, very end, when he apologized for his part and shook my hand again and told me that he was going to actually hook me up with a better job, making more money than what I'm making here at security, then I knew. I knew that when I had drove around and then drove back and got out the car and apologized to him, I knew that I had did the right thing. Because that's what it is. It's these little situations that fuck it up. It's the first encounters with people that usually fuck it up. And people, more often than not, have too much fucking pride. And they don't want to admit their wrongs. They don't want to admit that they were wrong. But I did. Because as a man, I'm not scary. As a man, I could admit my faults. And as a man, I could look at you dead in the eye and tell you what my problem is, and tell you where we got off to a bad start. And that's what happened. And real recognized real. Real recognized real. He respected that. And by our conversation, he knew and he could tell that I was a very intelligent person. And just, if I would have never have came back and got out the vehicle and apologized to him, we would have never had such a great conversation about life, about work, about being black in this country, about overcoming your situation, whatever that may be. I would have never have met somebody who had just got out of prison, who was doing so well for himself now, who was very proud of the job that he has, says that he was very proud of the fact that he only took like 3 days off all of last year. He works all the time. He's able to afford all these things. They give him so much responsibility, but, and give him, that he gets all these nice things, and then he's got a company vehicle and all this and all that. Well, I'm not sure if he said he got a company vehicle, but he did say he had like company cards and shit like that, and this was our first encounter. So I don't know how much of it he was really being truthful about, but I felt as though he was being genuine. And even if he wasn't being genuine about, about all the things he has, or, all the things he does, or what he can do for me, it was still a very good encounter by the end of it. We started off rocky, and it could have gone a lot worse than what it did, because, we were getting at each other. I mean, I wasn't really getting at him like that, but he was coming at me, and I threw my attitude back, and he didn't like that. But when I came back and I got out the car, I think that must have surprised him. He didn't expect a little dude like me, all of 5'7", skinny as a toothpick, to hop out the car like, what? I'm not scared. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I feel, and we gonna hash it out right here. Ain't gonna be no looking over my shoulder. Ain't gonna be no, oh, I don't know if he's gonna tell somebody, or you don't know if I'm gonna tell somebody. We gonna have this, talk about it later with manager. No, fuck all that. We gonna leave all them out of it. This is between me and you. And by the end of that situation, we embraced. We both apologized, and we both realized something, and we both learned something about ourselves as well as the other person. And that's beautiful. Such a beautiful thing. And I know I didn't have, I don't remember everything that I said or what he said. I just remember the initial interaction and what happened at the end. And that's all that counts. That's all that counts. Is a bad situation potentially could have became worse, but ended up becoming a positive, enlightening situation. That's how you turn what they call a nigga moment into a negus moment, into a king moment, into a black excellence, black empowerment moment. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. Fuck this colorist shit. Excuse my French, but fuck this light skin versus dark skin. I'm young, you old. Fuck all that separating, divisionary bullshit. It's one people, one family, one struggle. You feel me? So I'm glad that we were able to connect like that. It's especially special to me because of how we started and how we ended up. So I just thought that was interesting, and I wanted to share that with you guys. I actually wanted to report on a few other stories, but I actually wanted to be more coherent when I report on those. So I'll wait to do those. This was just me rambling about what had just occurred because I thought it was interesting. I thought it was a very interesting, enlightening moment. There's lessons in this, like, don't overreact. Speak to people with respect, always. And never make insinuations about people. That was, he made insinuations about me, and I may have made insinuations about him. Certainly not about being black and going into a nice house. I didn't give a fuck. I didn't know he was black until I pulled up on him. But you just got to be careful on your preconceived notions about people. He thought that I was, possibly early 20s. I'm like, bruh, you don't even know. I know I look young. But by the end of our encounter, he knew that I was a very intelligent, enlightening person, and he respected that. So like I said, remember, don't ever judge anybody. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't ever be too proud to admit that you are wrong, and don't ever have too much pride that it prevents you from doing what the fuck you have to do to carry on, to move forward and to progress. Because all hate and all the negative ass feelings and energy and all that rah-rah shit, it is not constructive. And all you end up doing is pissing yourself off more in the end. So if you're not growing from your situation, you're being consumed by it. And that's never a good thing. Because why? We're progressives. We progress. And that's what the fuck I did tonight. So with all that being said, I want to wish you guys a very good morning. It's almost 6 o'clock a.m. out here in San Diego, California. I want to remind you guys to like this video, show your boys some support. That always helps out. comment at the end of this video so I can hear your thoughts. Because I like hearing from you guys. Even if it's just to cuss me out. Just go ahead, cuss me out. Comment section. Cuss out LB the realist. I was just playing. Don't cuss me out. That's rude. But yeah, subscribe to me if you just landed on this video unexpectedly and you're not a subscriber already. And share this video if you think it's shareable. And until next time, love, peace, and light. I'm out.